What's going on, boxing fans? Julian Williams with The Distance. I'm here to give my number 2 in my top 5 series for this week in my heavyweight division. My number 5 was Mike Tyson. My number 4 was George Foreman. My number 3 was Larry Holmes. And on to number 2, who is Muhammad Ali? Muhammad Ali is pretty much in a class of his own. He's an icon to the sport of boxing. I know that every member of the YouTube box community has to look up to Muhammad Ali just because he is an icon. He's a crossover and cultural icon to the sport. He's a trendsetter as well, trendsetter to the sport today because he pretty much changed the sport of boxing and changed pretty much the attitude of the sport of boxing. See, before Ali in boxing, you had you had a lot of tough guys who went in there and pretty much beat each other's asses and played this tough guy role. Ali didn't play the tough guy role. Ali was a people's champion. You know, he was at the time a modern day Joe Louis. That's pretty much what he was. He was a people's champion. But to an extent, he wasn't there to have the white audience approve of him. As you could tell in the lead up to his matchups with Joe Frazier, when he referred to Joe Frazier as an Uncle Tom. And I understand at that time, it was a different era. Joe Louis, I'll get into Joe Louis another time, but it was a different era, and Ali wasn't there for anyone's approval. He was just a man of the people, and so pretty much he was a people's champion, and people loved him. He had great charisma, great personality. That was pretty much fan friendly. Though wasn't too friendly for his opponents, the fans loved him. Because with Muhammad Ali, you were going to get a show. Now, what was so unorthodox about Muhammad Ali was the fact that he was very fast for a heavyweight. It was not often that you get a heavyweight who was able to move around the ring that of lightweight. He was able to move as fast as a lightweight. And this is a 210-pound man who has the leg speed or foot speed of a lightweight. And you never really seen that in the heavyweight division at the time. You did have boxers that boxed on their toes, like Joe Louis, and even Floyd Patterson was able to, and even Ezzard Charles and stuff, and a couple other boxers at that time. But a lot of heavyweight boxing was pretty much come forward, and landing hard shots, landing hard blows, trying to knock each other out. That used to be the game of heavyweight boxing. And Ali was a good strategist. He knew that if he could dance around the ring with all these heavyweights, he'll definitely win the fight. Everything for Ali was a part of strategy, and he had blazing fast hands. He had great hand speed, and pretty much really, Ali was a light heavyweight that fought at heavyweight. That's just a matter of opinion. I thought he was a light heavyweight that fought at heavyweight. But see, at the time, the heavyweight division was in kind of a dry spell anyway. See, it was a different time because this is before the sanctioning bodies, and Ali moved up the ranks, and he fought Sonny Liston. He defeated Sonny Liston, and he was the heavyweight champion, and he held the title for like 2-3 years, and he lost about 3 years of his prime because he chose not to fight in the war. Now see, with Sonny Liston, a lot of people feared Sonny Liston because he was a hard puncher. People were actually looking at a long reign with Sonny Liston, but Ali dethroned him. I thought some people actually look at that as an upset. But see, anyway, Ali, he went in, he he beat Sonny Liston and held the title, and later on became one of the greatest of all time. But see, he lost about 3 years of his prime. Now see, in the '60s, Ali seemed to be much faster. If you look at the Cleveland Williams fight, look at the Cleveland Williams fight, and look at the Jerry Quarry fight. He was much faster in the Cleveland Williams fight than he was against Jerry Quarry, or if you look at the Sonny Liston matchup and then look at the Joe Frazier matchup, then you'll see a much faster Ali at the time, or much faster Ali in the Liston matchup. But anyway, he lost a good 3 years, and and then like in '68, the powers that be, they decide, hey, let's have this super match. Let's have this computerized matchup with him and Rocky Marciano, and which I thought was they kind of did him wrong with, because who in their right mind would think Marciano would beat Ali? You have a fighter that comes forward, and you have a fighter that circles around the ring. And on top of that, he was quick. He had good head movement. He actually had a good chin as well. I don't think Marciano would touch Ali, and if they had a match. But I think Ali is smart enough to stay away from Marciano. Just go in, throw some combos, and then move around the ring. That's all he would have to do. And this was back in Ali's prime, when he was, when he was much faster. But on top of that, in those flurries, he had power in those punches as well. But anyway, they kind of did him wrong before, and this is before Marciano had died in that plane crash. They had Marciano beating Ali by knockout, which is something I don't see happening. Because this is a young Ali and an old Marciano. I don't think those slow shots would have caught Ali. But anyway, they pretty much they did him wrong with that matchup. But I understand the circumstances. It was something he had to do, because pretty much he was out of boxing. They were gonna pay him for it, and it was just something that he had to do. And so I understand the circumstances and the situation. So anyway, I'm about to end this part of the video. I'm about to go into part 2. So this is the end of part 1. Peace.